very good morning. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne, and as always, we're coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. This morning too, we're ready with the details on all the top stories from both here at home and around the world. So do stay tuned with us for the news in detail. Let's start off with news here at home. The Board of Investment of Sri Lanka has announced that the country aims to attract foreign direct investment worth $1.8 billion in 2025. According to BOI Chairman Arjuna Herath, the International Monetary Fund has advised Sri Lanka to secure investments amounting to at least $1 billion. He stated that with the current favorable economic environment, Sri Lanka is well positioned to exceed this target. Herath expressed confidence that the country's improved economic stability and ongoing reforms will help boost investor confidence and attract increased international capital ratio into key sectors. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Public Administration, Provincial Councils and Local Government has informed local government institutions to expedite the implementation of development projects. Deputy Minister Ruan Senarath stated that 23 billion rupees has been allocated from the previous budget for development activities of local government bodies. He also noted that 53 billion rupees has been allocated for development activities under provincial councils. The Deputy Minister emphasized that these funds must be utilized for development projects before November this year. He further explained that delays in establishing authority in some local government institutions have caused certain setbacks in development activities. He warned that if such delays continue, the allocated funds may have to be returned to the Treasury of Sri Lanka. Now, the chairman of the Paddy Marketing Board of Sri Lanka, Manjula Pinnalanda, says that the board has purchased 600,000 kilograms of paddy so far from the Yala season harvest. He stated that the largest portion has been purchased from the Ampara district. Now, paddy stocks are also being received from districts in the northern province and from the Puttlam district as well. The chairman added that paddy warehouses in the Anuradhapura district and the northwestern province have already been opened for storage. The government had earlier announced a guaranteed price scheme, purchasing Nadu paddy at 120 rupees per kilogram, Samba at 125 rupees, Kiri Samba at 130 rupees per kilogram as well. A total of 6 billion rupees was allocated from the previous budget for this program. Now, the Urban Development Authority has decided to recommence construction work on 8 previously stalled housing projects. Director of the UDA, MHBR Kumara, stated that work will promptly resume on 2 apartment projects initiated for low-income earners in Narahenpita and Torrington. These projects comprise a total of 750 housing units. In addition, the Urban Development Authority has secured new investors to resume construction on 2 middle-income housing projects in Paliagoda, 2 in Orugodavatta and 1 in Stadium Gama, all of which were halted midway. The authority also revealed that a housing project started for middle-income earners in the Anuradhapura town area has also been abandoned. However, plans are now in place to restart its construction activities as well. We're still in local news. The Ministry of Education has instructed provincial and zonal education directors to urgently submit reports regarding surplus teachers in schools. Deputy Minister of Education Madhura Senaviratne stated that some rural schools with low student populations have reported an excess number of teachers. He added that, however, there are other schools experiencing teacher shortages as well. The Deputy Minister pointed out that this imbalance is significantly impacting the teacher distribution across the country. He further stated that in line with the upcoming education reforms set to begin next year, the ministry will take steps to properly redistribute teachers island-wide. Finally, onto your weather forecast for today. The Met Department says that showers will occur at times in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Kandy, Nuwara Eliya, Galle and Makara districts. Several spells of showers may occur in the western and northwestern provinces. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the Uba, northern and eastern provinces during the afternoon or night. Strong winds of about 40 to 50 kilometers per hour can be expected at times over the western slopes of the central hills and in the western, Sabaragamuwa, southern, northwestern and north central provinces. And as always, the general public is requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. Well, with that, let's move on to news overseas. Allow me to shift your attention to the USA. US President Donald Trump has said he settled on another tariff deal, this time with Indonesia. Trump said he has agreed to lower tariffs he had threatened on goods entering the US from Indonesia to 19% in exchange for what he called full access for American firms. Terms of the deal were not immediately confirmed by the Southeast Asian country, which boasts a small but growing trade relationship with the United States. Now, the pact is the latest to emerge after the White House unveiled a barrage of tariffs this spring, kicking off a flurry of trade talks over the duties. After suspending his most aggressive tariff plans from earlier this year, Trump this month renewed his threats, sending warning letters to dozens of countries that he intended to start charging high tariffs from the 1st of August. His targets include all of America's biggest trade partners, including the European Union, Canada, Mexico, Japan, as well as South Korea. Indonesia also received a letter from Trump last week outlining plans for a 32% tariff on its goods, reportedly bewildering officials who had thought an agreement was close. Trump said on Tuesday that he had reduced that rate after a phone call with the president of Indonesia. He said that as part of this deal, Indonesia had agreed to lower its trade tariffs for products from the US, which America has complained were high for many agricultural products, as well as certain manufactured goods. Trump later announced that the country has also agreed to purchase $15 billion worth in US energy, $4.5 billion in American agricultural goods, as well as 50 Boeing jets. Indonesia ranks as one of America's top 25 trade partners, sending about $28 billion to the US last year, including clothing, footwear, as well as palm oil. Let's move on to another international news item this morning. This time, the news comes in from Russia. Now, sources close to the Kremlin say that Russian President Vladimir Putin intends to keep fighting in Ukraine until the West engages on his terms for peace, unfazed by Donald Trump's threats of tougher sanctions, and his territorial demands may widen as Russian forces advance. Now, Putin, who ordered Russian troops into Ukraine in February 2022, after 8 years of fighting in the country's east between Russian-backed separatists and Ukrainian troops, believes Russia's economy and its military are strong enough to weather any additional Western measures. Now, Trump on Monday expressed his frustration with Putin's refusal to agree a ceasefire and announced a wave of weapons supplies to Ukraine, including Patriot, a surface-to-air missile systems. He also threatened further sanctions on Russia unless a peace deal was reached within 50 days. The sources close to the Kremlin say that Putin will not stop the war under pressure from the West and believes Russia, which has survived the toughest sanctions imposed by the West, can endure further economic hardship, including threatened US tariffs targeting buyers of Russian oil. And finally, onto your sports news this morning. In sports, it's cricket. The decisive and final T20 match between hosts Sri Lanka and Bangladesh will take place today at the R. Premadasa International Cricket Stadium in Colombo. Both teams engaged in training sessions yesterday in preparation for this crucial encounter. Sri Lanka won the first match of the series by 7 wickets, while Bangladesh bounced back strongly in the second match, securing a commanding 83-run victory. With the series now level at 1-1, today's match will determine the winner, making it a high-stakes encounter for both the sides. Sri Lanka has already clinched victories in both the Test and ODI series against Bangladesh during this tour, boosting their confidence heading into the T20 decider. Now, looking at the recent form, Sri Lanka has won 2 out of their last 5 T20 internationals while losing 3. Bangladesh, on the other hand, has struggled in this format, managing just 1 win in their last 5 T20 matches and losing the remaining 4. The match is scheduled to begin at 7 p.m. at the R. Premadasa Cricket Stadium, promising an exciting showdown between the 2 competitive sides eager to claim this series title. Well, that brings to a close this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown on TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. Thank you for joining us today, and do join us tomorrow as well for more of the very latest from here at home and around the world. Take care. Have a wonderful day ahead.